Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, nice to see you. My name is Lauren, thanks for coming. And this is a new background. I take a lot of videos in front of my shower curtain, so I got a new shower curtain. I feel like it's a neat background, I don't know. So I'm going to talk about my anxiety story, and I am just going to kind of try to keep it a little bit short because I don't want to go into too much detail, and like I don't feel like every single little detail is necessary. But anyways, I'm just gonna get into it. So I've always been an anxious person. I was anxious as a kid. I would worry about stuff, and it was never really to the point where it was bad or I thought that I could have had a mental illness or anything like that. So I just kind of put it aside and, you know, was just like, oh, she just worries. Like, everyone gets stressed out, everyone worries and all that stuff. My mom and me, we didn't really think much of it at the time until I started into 6th grade. My anxiety kind of worsened, I guess you could say. And it was because I was going into a new school. If any of you guys are familiar with the American schooling system, the way middle school works is like a bunch of elementary schools go into one middle school, and then high school is like 2 middle schools into a high school. But anyways, so I was nervous about meeting a bunch of new kids and like going to school with a bunch of new people that I've never met before. And so that just stressed me out a lot, and my anxiety got so bad to the point where I developed a stomach ulcer. And if you don't know what a stomach ulcer is, it's pretty much where your stomach acids are not going the correct way. They're, you know, they're supposed to be going down or whatever, or stay in your stomach, and it was like coming up into my esophagus and I don't know, whatever. And so it just kind of like, it pretty much like burns a hole in your stomach lining or something like that. So I had to take medicine for that when I was literally just like 12 years old. And a way my anxiety manifests itself is a lot of times through physical things like stomach aches and that sort of stuff. But fast forward through 7th and 8th grade, my anxiety was kind of okay. I went to a therapist for a little while when I was in 6th grade, but I probably only went like 4 times at most. Until 8th grade, I started having panic attacks. Once again, at the time, I had no idea what they were. I just thought it was because my stomach would be hurting, and so it was just like me getting stressed out about my stomach hurting, because I hate that feeling of like nausea, or like I hate, you know, throwing up or that sort of stuff. And so I just thought, oh, it's just because of that I don't feel good, that I'm getting stressed out because of that. But it wasn't until later that I found out that, you know, stomach aches and that sort of stuff are a result of a panic attack. After 8th grade, obviously I went into high school. That was a fun time, let me tell you. So I went into high school, and obviously that was not a fun transition, considering middle school was like awful, high school was no better. If anything, it was worse. And like I specifically remember my very first day of school, I literally did not want to get out of the car. I did not want to walk into that building because I was so terrified. I mean, my high school years were pretty okay. There were some times worse than others. So then this kind of transitions into something a bit different, but I mean, I had my anxiety, but I feel like my freshman year was honestly my best year of high school. I know a lot of people say it's the opposite, that their freshman year was the worst, but I don't know, it's different for everyone. Anyways, when I went into my sophomore year, I started experiencing things I had never felt before, and it isn't till later or now that I understand that I was feeling depression then. And I have a therapist now that I see, and after talking to him and about this sort of stuff, I realized that anxiety and depression go hand in hand. Not all the time, but it is very common that if you have anxiety, you can experience some depression, not necessarily clinical depression or anything severe, but sometimes you can experience those two things together. So my sophomore year, I don't think it was all of it, but a big portion of it, I felt depressed, and I felt just like not happy to be at school or here, pretty much. And that was a really hard time for me. And a lot of people didn't understand. They just thought I was like, oh, you're just, you know, yeah, we all get depressed sometimes. And I'm like, no, there's a difference. Like, yes, you can get sad. There's a complete difference between like feeling depressed and feeling like you have depression. And so I had talked to my mom about it, and you know, if you have anxiety or you feel like you have anxiety or a mental illness or anything, don't be afraid to talk to your parents or a friend or teacher, because it really does help. And at first my mom didn't really understand all that I was going through. She didn't understand panic attacks or depression. She just thought I was like, you know, exaggerating or whatever. But now she understands, and she like is, you know, apologetic about the fact that she was like closed-minded and didn't understand back then, because the way I see it is that mental illnesses are harder for people to understand because they aren't physical illnesses. Like, if I have a broken arm, people can see that and be like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry you have a broken arm. But if you feel broken inside, people can't see that, so they just think, oh, you just need a day off. You just have a long nap or something. Like, people don't understand it as well, and unless you've personally been through it, it's super hard to relate and understand. So that's why you have to be completely open and honest, and it might take some time. It was really frustrating for me to explain and talk about my feelings when people didn't believe me, but, you know, it got to the point where, you know, people did believe me and actually understood what I was going through. So I went through depression through that time, and it was the worst around holiday season, which I talked about in a previous video, that you know, I get seasonal depression, and so ever since my sophomore year of high school, I've experienced seasonal depression after that. So it's not fun, but you know what, I do my best I can to like get through it. After that, my junior year was pretty okay. My anxiety, I would get some anxiety occasionally, but then my senior year was when it really escalated and when it really got to the point where it was like severe. Something needed to be done about it. So at that point, my anxiety started getting really bad in like October of last year, I think. And I would get panic attacks like, I feel like every week or every other week or something, or even more. Like, I would have horrible panic attacks, worse than I had ever experienced before. And so I was like, at that point, I was like, I cannot handle this anymore. I cannot deal with all the anxiety and everything that is going on inside of me. So I started seeing a therapist, and that has helped tremendously. Like, I am so thankful. And, you know, when I talk about my mom about it today, she, you know, is like, I'm sorry I didn't take you sooner. I didn't realize how big of an issue this really was. And I didn't either, because I just thought it was something I could deal with by myself. But obviously I couldn't, and it's okay to ask for help. It is okay to reach out and ask for help from a therapist or a doctor or anyone. And I went to a doctor, and they like took tests and whatever. They have like a test for depression and anxiety, and I said, okay, yes, something's up. We're gonna do something about that. And so the doctor prescribed me medicine to take in the morning and at night, and I take those every day. And pretty much it's to help balance the serotonin levels within my body, because, you know, people often think, oh, mental illnesses aren't real. They're just like all in your head. And it's like, yeah, they are in your head and they are real. And so like serotonin is a chemical or something that like regulates your emotions and stuff. I don't know, you can do research on it, but pretty much when you have mental illnesses, there are chemical imbalances within your body and your brain. And so taking medicine helps and works for some people, and it doesn't for others, you know. It's just kind of like a trial and error thing. I forgot to mention this before, but when I was experiencing severe depression and panic attacks and anxiety my sophomore year, I did go to the doctor, and at that time they prescribed me medicine, which worked horribly. I wouldn't say it was an allergic reaction, but I got side effects that were like my whole body ached. I couldn't move my hands to like write for school, which is very important, you know? And I literally could not walk on my feet because my feet hurt so bad. I couldn't get out of bed because my whole body was in pain from the medicine. So after like 2-3 days of taking it, I just thought like, oh, maybe I'm just sore from, I don't know, walking or something. So I was just like, it's okay, you know, whatever. And then after doing research on the medicine and seeing that that was one of the side effects, I was like, heck no, I am not taking this anymore. So I quit taking it, and the medicine that I'm currently on, I haven't had any side effects or anything. So a lot of times it is trial and error with medicines like that. But let me tell you, if you are going through a hard time right now, you will get through it. I am living proof that things will get better. Whatever is going on in your life whatever hardships, whatever trials you are going through, it will get better. And you will get through this. That's kind of my whole anxiety story, I'd say. There are definitely a lot of other little details I could say, but I either don't want to or it would take too long to explain all of them, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And I hope this helped someone out there, anyone at all. But yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to make this video because I had mentioned I have panic attacks, and so when I was doing research on anxiety, because I was the main person who did research for myself, because at the time not many people were thought it was a legitimate issue. So I did the majority of the research on anxiety disorders and panic attacks and all that stuff for myself, because I was like, I need help and I'm not getting it from anywhere, so I'm gonna get it from myself. So I did research and I watched Zoella's video on anxiety, and she was talking about panic attacks, and that video is what made me realize what I was having with panic attacks. So I really think that just a simple YouTube video can help so many people, because somebody else's YouTube video helped me, so I'm hoping that through this YouTube video it will help one of y'all out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped someone out there. I just want you guys to know that this too shall pass, and that you are going to be okay, and that I love you, and yes. So thank you for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe down below for more if you haven't already, and until my next video, bye!